Hello, Trailblazers. It is Thanksgiving here in the United States of America. Today is our official Thanksgiving, and that is why I am coming to you wearing my pajamas. I did not get my nails done, I did not put my clothes on, and I did not even make my bed. And the reason why is because today I am bringing to your attention absolutely incredible high achievers. And in the last several weeks, I showed up every Friday in front of you to deliver a very special message. And I wore my red dress and I was clothed properly, my bed was made, and you came from all over the earth to hear what I had to say and what my guest speakers had to say. And that can create a false perception as if in my life, I am always on, as if I'm just this perfect Barbie who just always got it together, got certified in the first 30 days and just never gets tired. And that is not true. The reason why this message is so important to me is because I am sharing with you 7 proven strategies to pass your exam on the first attempt. And today, one of our guests never ever failed an exam. He is a very, very special unicorn. And I want to balance our golden hoodies, high achievers, many times certified Salesforce superstars. I want to balance all of them with a pillow talk that I'm going to give you right now. Every day is not the same for everybody. I shared with you that I am an introvert, and the effort that it took for me to show up week after week after week, wearing my red dress, full makeup, and getting my nails done was tremendous. And that is not how everybody is every day. You ask me many times in your comments how you can balance your lives because you have many responsibilities. And today I'm demonstrating to you how you can balance your life by showing you. Today is my day off. It is Thanksgiving, and I decided to dedicate all my time to studying for Marketing Cloud Consultant exam, which I already failed twice. So I didn't want to do absolutely anything else except that. But you are my priority, and that is why I decided to show up right here, give up everything else, even dressing up, because I couldn't give up you. So in your life, I hope as you're listening to all our high achievers, I hope you understand that as we transition now from me being all like chill, calm down, don't make your bed, wearing your pajamas, as we transition into high achievement and performance, I hope you also realize that life has to be balanced. Sometimes you can be fully on, and sometimes you can. So today I'm sharing with you 7 proven strategies to pass your exam on the first attempt. And my first strategy is this: develop your own methods to study stuff. Develop your own methods, because everybody doesn't learn the same way. Everybody is not going to have the same path. That is why each of us is called a trailblazer, so that we blaze our own trail. So let me introduce to you our very first guest speaker. He is 16 times Salesforce certified all-star ranger, application architect at Salesforce, a rare unicorn who never failed an exam. And I trust him completely when he says this, because I've experienced personally this trailblazer's integrity consistently. He's a Navy veteran and a host of the popular Military Trailblazer Office Hours, YouTuber, mentor, LinkedIn influencer with 17,000 followers, lead solution engineer by profession, and introvert by heart. My personal friend, whom I absolutely adore and cherish, David Scott Nava. Welcome on stage. Welcome into my webinar. I am so absolutely delighted to have you here. And I have a question for you. What are your certification exam prep strategies? Please take it away.
Yeah, thanks so much, Anna, for the awesome introduction. That's probably the best introduction I've ever had. So I'm humbled and very thankful on this Thanksgiving. And typically I'll introduce myself, but I think you covered it. So As you mentioned, I've taken 15 Salesforce exams and I passed them all on the first try. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I think that's possible for anyone. I came into the ecosystem from the military without a tech background. I did not have a tech degree. I still don't. I didn't have a tech network. I'd never heard of Salesforce. But I was committed to working hard, and I happen to be a process person, right? So I guess the reason why I've passed so many exams is because I understand how I learn. I know my learning strengths, I know my weaknesses, and I, being a process-centric person, developed a study process to highlight my strengths and offset my weaknesses. And so, I could share my study method with you and claim, oh, it's the best, right? Best way to learn, but that really wouldn't be accurate because, as Anna mentioned, and it's totally true, we all learn in slightly different ways, which ultimately means there isn't a universally perfect method for learning the material to pass exams. And so what I can share, though, is some guidance to consider when developing a study plan that is tailored to your unique learning needs. And you want to think about, this is my opinion, about 5 things, right? So method, materials, schedule, forcing functions, and resiliency. And Anna mentioned, I haven't failed an exam. That's true. I would kind of modify that statement to say I haven't failed an exam yet. It's coming. There's some hard ones out there, and they're on my list, and so it will happen. And so resiliency is something that I do plan for, because I know that at some point I will be sharing that, hey, it's a near miss, and that streak is over. But let me go into kind of the process that I developed, and then hopefully in doing so, this will give you some idea for how to really, give some intention and thought to how you study before you get to that study process. So first, method, right? You need to figure out how you learn. And so when selecting the methods that you use to commit the materials to memory, you really need to understand what type of learner you are. Are you a visual learner, right? Who does better by watching videos? Do you do better with audio only and maybe podcasts are your jam? Are you a hands-on learner? More than likely, it's a mixture, and that's how it is for me. And so as an example, I will typically start with videos so I can see what's going on. And then I'll transition to hands-on learning until I fully understand the material. And then I'll move on to practice tests. Lots and lots of practice tests. So once you have your method, right, you're ready to consider your materials. And you don't want to look at your materials until you have your method, because how do you know what materials to select unless you know what kind of learner you are? And so when you're ready for your materials, I typically break Salesforce exams into 2 broad categories. You have your core and your specialty. And this is the world according to me. You might have a different view, but core are things like admin, platform app builder, advanced admin, sales, service, experience cloud, all those kind of foundational Salesforce certifications. And there are exams and there's study materials that third-party course providers put out and they curate, which you can purchase, and ultimately that is very helpful in selecting your materials. And then you've got specialty exams, like Anna mentioned, she's taking a marketing cloud certification here soon, Pardot, CRMA, or CRM analytics. And for these exams, there's not always as many study materials. And so you have to get creative. For me, I will typically use the Salesforce study guide, right? That's the foundational document guide for every Salesforce exam. And I create a learning checklist from that. So I'll literally copy and paste all the topics into a Word document or Google Doc. And then I will use Trailhead, Salesforce guides. There's usually a guide for most clouds and most features. And then the help and training website to fill in that checklist with notes about each of the topics. And it takes me a few weeks. And then when I have those notes, then I begin to commit them to memory and I study them. And so backing up to kind of the core certifications, my materials that I selected, this is just me personally, I begin with Mike Wheeler Media videos. I like his content. He breaks it down very simply. He's got videos both on udemy.com and his own website, Mike Wheeler Media. And then when I've kind of mastered those, I move on to Focus on Force. And Focus on Force digs really deep into the weeds, and they have more graphic content, pictures and text in their study guides. Both those folks have really great practice tests. And again, that's part of my process. I will practice test, take a lot of those. So that's kind of the materials that I use. And so once you have your method and your materials and you kind of, your framework is starting to be built, that's when you set up your schedule. And this is crucial, right? You want to set your schedule so that you have uninterrupted time to learn the material. Block it off in your calendar as focus time, your work calendar. Talk about it with your boss. Make sure that you honor that time. So if someone tries to cut in that time, like, hey, can you join a meeting? Hey, thanks very much. Unless it's an emergency, thanks very much, but that's my study time, and I have to honor that. And make sure that you've removed all other distractions and dig in and really focus on that material. And to do that effectively, you need to understand the best environment for you to study in. So give some thought to location, time of day. Do you operate better with background noise or no background noise? Your ultimate goal is to create a study environment that is conducive to your unique learning needs. So for me, I study from 5 to 6 a.m. when no one else in my house is awake and before work starts. I'll grab a coffee, I'll head to my office where I'm at now, where it's quiet. I've got Salesforce memorabilia in the background, kind of cheering me on. And I'll put on some classical music, and I close all my browser windows on my computer that are not related to studying, because I tend to get distracted by LinkedIn and other things, and I'll focus. And then you move on to forcing functions. And so if you've heard me talk before about studying for exams, you've heard me use the term, but if you haven't, this is a huge part of my study strategy. And it's a technique that folks often overlook. Forcing functions, simply defined, force us to be accountable to our goals by creating for yourself a task, activity, or event, and then publicly sharing that, right? So committing to a specific date with others makes it harder to back out when you reach that milestone. So for example, I will actually pay for my exam and schedule it in Web Assessor and Criterion. And then oftentimes I'll share the news with my friends. Sometimes I'll post it on social media with a promise to report back with my results. And if you do that, not only will it encourage you to not change the date a bunch of times, which I've done before, but it also encourages you to study harder, because you don't want to fail yourself, and you also don't want to fail the folks that you communicated that with. So accountability is a key part of your strategy. And then the final thing is resiliency. And there's a couple flavors of this, but resiliency can't be overstated. So, failing an exam can be a crushing blow to your confidence, especially if perhaps you failed the same exam more than once. And I would say to you, and I'm saying this to myself too, because like I said, it's coming for me. You can't go forever without failing an exam. Don't lose faith in yourself, right? You're absolutely capable of passing the exam. It's not a problem with your abilities. It's a problem with your process, with your study method. So I would say if this is your first test, it means you need to spend some more time thinking about your strategy and what needs to be tweaked to optimize your results. And if it isn't your first test and your strategy has worked in the past, ask yourself, okay, what's different about this test that my strategy does not adequately address? And, I want to leave you with one thing for resiliency. At the end of the day, this bit of wisdom was passed on to me when I first started in the ecosystem, and I share it as much as I can. People ultimately do not care how many times you fail an exam, only that you passed once. So keep that in mind. 15 failures? Okay, great. Did you pass? Well, yeah, that's all I care about. Hopefully this will help you study for your exams. And I'm going to post something in chat here in a moment. If you want some specific study techniques, or you want some links to the resources that I mentioned, I have a study guide on my YouTube channel, and there's a lot of other content on there if you want to explore career paths in the ecosystem. So let me paste that in chat. And then if you have any questions, would love to hear those. But that's kind of my 2 cents on how I come up with my study plan each and every time.
David, thank you so much for sharing this. This was absolutely incredible. And I just want to mention to everyone on this call that David dedicated specific time to be here today. He is super, super busy, and it is a miracle that we have him. And that is why I'm inviting you to raise your hand and ask him questions. So make sure you don't unmute yourself, but raise your hand to ask him questions. And I do want to confirm that if you fail an exam more than once, from my personal experience, I can say there is this severe anxiety, like, oh my God, what if I fail again? And that is what I'm feeling today. I'm taking my Marketing Cloud Consultant exam for the 3rd time. The stakes are high because Salesforce will not allow me to take it again after I fail it, if I fail it until the new release. So there is this, but the truth be told, as a human who is experiencing it right now, if you're going through it, I just want to assure both me and you that trailblazer. We're not going to die. The world is not going to come crashing, and we're going to be okay when we wake up the next morning. Everything will be fine. So that's what I'm telling myself. And thank you so much for reassuring us, David. Thank you so much for sharing your YouTube channel. I would like to encourage everybody to go and subscribe to David's YouTube channel. And now, please raise your hand if you would like to ask David any questions. He is leaving here in a few moments, so make sure you don't procrastinate too long.
I see a couple in there. And so great question. How many days do you give to prepare for each exam? And so that really depends on you and the exam. So what I mentioned earlier is I create that checklist where I take the exam guide and I copy and paste it into a document like a Google Doc, Microsoft Word that I work with, and it's got all the topics. And then I will put notes under each of those topics for the categories. And so if I'm taking an exam and I know that topic really, really well, then I know that I don't have to spend much time on it. And each of those topic headers, I'll put an estimated number of days that I need for that topic. So if it's something really complicated, maybe I'll spend 3 days on it. And so at the end of creating my framework, before I even put the notes in, I've got all the topics and I've got how much time I think it's going to take me. I take all those, topic times and I add them up at the bottom. And that's the core amount of time that I think it's going to take me essentially to learn the notes once I fill them in. I take that time and I will typically add about a week and a half to it for study for exams. So I mentioned I will typically take 10 to 12 exams every test, practice exams. If you're studying for one of those core exams that focus on force covers, they have great exams, exam guides and practice exams. I'll just keep taking them until I get 80%. And then I know I've mastered the material. And if there's any specific areas that I am doing poorly in, Focus on Force has those section level exams. I'll just take those specifically where all the questions are related to that section. So you've got your time for all your topics. You've about a week and a half for your practice exams. And then I'll usually put a 10 to 15% time buffer on that, and I'll schedule my exam. And then, things come up. So if you're going through your material and you're behind schedule, then you either make up the time or that, okay, I have to push my date back, and you go into criteria and web assessor and you push it back a few days. Just don't keep doing that, obviously, because then there's something wrong with either your study schedule or your materials, and then you have to examine that again. That's typically how I will frame it. And so for some exams, like for developer, I spent 6 months studying, and for advanced admin, I spent a week. Because for advanced admin, I was coming off of a bunch of exams I'd already taken. Advanced admin is basically a combination of admin, sales cloud, a little bit of service cloud, it's platform app builder. And if you've taken those, you're really ready for advanced admin. I was, so I didn't really even study. I just kind of took it and I did okay. Because you'll find the more tests you take, the more you'll become familiar with the framework that Salesforce uses to ask questions, and you'll speed up in how long it takes you to study for an exam. My average, I would say, is about a month. If it's not something super technical like developer was for me, and if it's not a specialty cert like CRM analytics, which is probably my next cert, and probably the one, if I'm honest, that I'm going to fail at least once. So that's how long it takes me. I know there's another question here. Someone was asking about, let's see, let me scroll back up here.
Timothy was asking, how do you get started with Salesforce Military? And also Nina is asking, I would like to hear your thoughts about internship, volunteering, and Salesforce in a Salesforce ecosystem, and experience of the working environment.
Awesome. I'll get to those. I know Carlos said, hey, what do you think about spaced repetition programs such as Anki or Enki? Carlos, I haven't heard of that, but I'm going to look it up right after the session. I would say that if that works for you, then absolutely use it. What works for me is if it's a hands-on exam or for elements of the hands-on exam, I'll build in my dev org. And if it's just limitations and if it's rote knowledge that I have to memorize, just going over it multiple times and then creating study cards, that works for me. But I'm going to look up Anki and see what that is, because that's interesting. If you want to get started with Trailhead Military, it's open for active duty military, veterans, spouses, as well as folks in our allied countries. So Australia, the UK, New Zealand, Canada. And you simply go to, let me put the website in there. It's, I'll grab it and I'll throw it in there. Here it is, veterans.force.com. And you can sign up, it's free. You'll use ID Me to verify your affiliation with the military. And they provide you with guided paths. So admin path, right? Platform app builder path. It links to your Trailhead account. You complete the modules. Once you're complete with the modules, they'll send you a voucher for a free cert and a free course. The course is optional, you don't have to take it. And then you can go right to the cert if you want to. And you can take, I think there's up to 19 now different certifications they offer. All of mine have come from Trailhead Military. So it's an amazing resource. Thoughts about internship, volunteering in Salesforce area for Trailblazers and experience of working environment. So when I was coming in, there weren't a whole lot of opportunities to have internships. Now that's different. You've got the Pathfinder program. So you can Google Salesforce, Pathfinder. I believe that's in alignment with Deloitte. They have a phenomenal program. If you're military or military affiliated, there's Hiring Our Heroes, which is a 12-week internship with the Salesforce partner. They have cohorts all the time. That's an amazing opportunity. There are periodic other internships that come up on the Salesforce on Trailhead that you'll be able to access through various, like K2 sometimes offers an internship. So you have to kind of monitor the Trailhead site, monitor social media, but don't, if you're not military and if maybe you're not in one of those areas where there's an internship, you could absolutely go out and create one for yourself just by developing a relationship with the company, talking to the folks and, putting yourself out there as open to an internship. And that's what I did leaving the military. I created my own internship. And so volunteering is a great way to get experience. I also volunteered for 2 separate veteran-focused nonprofits. The caution I would say is when you're, there's mixed feelings about this. Some folks think it's an awesome thing to do, and others are like, well, yeah, but when you've gotten your experience after 6 months, then where are you leading that volunteer organization when you move on? And it's a fair point. So I would say if you're interested in volunteering, be upfront and communicate your exit strategy with that volunteer organization so they know exactly how long you're going to support them for. They know if you're going to leave them with, if you're going to help them search for another qualified person so that you're not leaving them in the lurch where now they have to find somebody else. And as long as you're honest up front and you have that exit strategy, phenomenal way to get experience. And then I would be remiss if I didn't say there's also ways to get alternative work experience. So super badges are a great way to show how to configure solutions on the platform. They just released a whole lot of new ones that are much more accessible than they used to be. So they're smaller, you can complete them faster. They're honestly more fun. And then you can always create apps. Free DevOrg, just Google DevOrg, Salesforce. It's 2 licenses and then start building apps. And if you want a project for how to demonstrate your capabilities as well as to serve as a virtual resume, you can actually, if you go to Trailhead, there is a trail on how to create your own Experience Cloud site where you can drop your resume in there, put information about yourself, and that serves as your professional portfolio. So go to Trailhead and search for a professional portfolio. I have one, I created one, it helped me tremendously. And that's another way to show that you know what you're doing without actually going out and having, finding a job, which is often hard to do. How do you get a job if no one will hire you without a job? Well, that's one way. Show that alternative work experience. Just looking for more questions here.
David, thank you so much for answering these questions. I do want to mention to everyone that if you would like to see an example of an Experience Cloud built free portfolio, you can go to salesforceanna.com, and that is my portfolio I built in 4 hours using free Experience Cloud site. And I also on my LinkedIn wrote a detailed article, step-by-step instructions with pictures, how you can also do it. David, I have a cookie jar. And in my cookie jar, cookies look like this. These are gratitude notes. And for Thanksgiving, you made it into my cookie jar. So now you are in my cookie jar. I'm so grateful for you for many reasons. And I'll tell you what they are. Number 1, for your contribution to the community. Number 2, for being my friend and for encouraging me throughout this journey. Number 3, for sharing with me that you are also an introvert like me, and you recharge by spending time alone in a quiet environment. Of course, as an introvert, I also learn best without any distractions, completely alone in my own room, primarily in my pajamas. And another reason I'm grateful for you, reason number 4, is for your leadership, for you prioritizing time and making yourself this Thanksgiving as a family man available for us and sharing your wisdom. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you greatly.
My pleasure. Thanks for adding me to your cookie jar. And it was awesome to be here with all of you. I really appreciate it.
So please, everybody, go now and follow David on YouTube, follow him on LinkedIn. I do have a request for people who are attending today, and I thank all 22 people who are here this Thanksgiving. I would like to ask you to please take my notes that I captured from what David was saying. And could you please go to my LinkedIn profile and insert those notes and tag David, because I want everybody to have access to those notes. Maybe not everybody could make it on Thanksgiving to this webinar, but I do want people to know what were David's tips. So if you could capture that in the comments about this event, I would appreciate you greatly. All right, thank you so much, David. Was there any other questions that you wanted to answer?
Open source. Oh, okay. Explain what Anki is. Open source program to create flashcards. Yeah, that sounds amazing, Carlos. I do it old school with like 3x5 inch index cards. So because I'm old, but that sounds like a great resource. So thanks for sharing that with me. And I definitely do recommend flashcards.
Timothy says, thank you, Anna. This was my first time here at saasguru webinar. Learned from a good friend, Eric. Eric, thank you so much for bringing attention to this event. Everybody should grab the link to this event, post it on LinkedIn by taking a picture of me and David, with me wearing my pajamas. David, let's smile. Share this event and tell people to come on right now and say, Anna Szabo is wearing her pajamas. I know people won't believe it, so let them come and see for themselves. David, I appreciate you greatly. I consider you my mentor. I also want to let everybody know that David hosts live webinars on his YouTube channel, and you can come and join some of his webinars. They're free, and in February, I'm going to be a speaker at his webinar. So make sure you follow him everywhere, subscribe to his emails, and subscribe to his YouTube channel. David, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And for everyone on the call, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Strategy number 2, decide which material you will study and bookmark everything. I do it because my materials are typically many. You heard how David described, he puts everything in a checklist. He creates checklists and then he completes it with the materials. I go and I bookmark everything on YouTube, everything on Salesforce Help. I bookmark everything. I don't use Focus on Force, I use saasguru. So I bookmark saasguru study guide, I bookmark saasguru training exams, practice exams, and once I have all my materials, I get started. So to share how deciding which materials to study and actually creating the library of materials to then follow, will share with us an amazing trailblazer. And I would like Eric to put a link about this specific trailblazer right now in a live chat. And I want everybody to go and read about this amazing person. He is Salesforce Growth Manager at Formstock. Golden Hoodie recipient, that means a leader, speaks 5 languages. He is a PepTech alumni and former volunteer instructor at PepTech, father, blogger, mentor, leader. Shakil Kamram, please come on stage. Welcome to my webinar. I'm sorry that for your first time I'm wearing my pajamas, but I'm sure you understand why I'm doing it, to balance everybody's high achievement with some relaxation and chill time in my life. Today is my day off. Welcome, Shakil. I have a question for you. How do you go about finding the materials to study for your exams, and what's been the role of Trailhead, YouTube, practice exams, etc.? And I know in the article, I'm encouraging everybody to go read. You share about the Trailhead and its role on your journey, but tell us everything.
I will. Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for having me, Anna. And hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to meet you all. I'm so inspired by everyone being here today, because it's important, right, to focus on yourself and take your career wherever you want to take it. So thank you once again, Anna, for for having me on here. I was going to say maybe you should have had me first and then had David second, because David is a rock star more than I am. But I mean, essentially, I'll piggyback of what David said, right? So in terms of what is the best material, I've always used Focus on Force, Udemy. I kind of do what you did, Anna, was bookmark. I bookmark everything. I also have taken index cards, and used it that way as well. Salesforce Ben is a great platform to kind of get information and see what resources are out there for you to study. I do want to take a step back though, because we were talking a little bit about exam failure. So I am the complete opposite of David. That's why I said you should have started with me, because I failed my admin exam 5 times. So when David said he didn't fail at all, I was like, okay, you know what? Anna should have had me first, and then ended with David. But
let me comment on this. Okay? That's why I'm wearing my pajamas today. Because it's so important. I'll tell you, I passed my exam in 30 days on the first attempt. In 87 days, I became 3 times Salesforce certified. And at that time, I never failed an exam. Then I failed my Sales Cloud exam and I was completely devastated. And it failed from LinkedIn experience. Like everybody's passing all these exams every second, everybody's always on, and I'm the only loser. That's why I'm wearing my pajamas today, to show. No, I became 8 times Salesforce certified in 152 days. And I have downtime. I'm not going to make my bed. I'm not going to put my clothes on. I'm going to prioritize one thing, and that is y'all. And I'm going to show up in my pajamas, no makeup, and I'll share with everybody. I'll rub my face. I'm not wearing any makeup. Everybody's asking, oh, how do you have this beautiful skin at 40? Because I fast. It's cellular rejuvenation. But I do want to say something very important, and that is I encourage everybody here to never compare themselves to others. I do not even compare myself to myself. I do not compare my performance today to my performance some days when I'm totally on all the time. I can't be like that all the time. So please don't compare yourself to anybody here. And I don't want anybody here to compare themselves to anybody here. We are each on a different journey. And I invited you because you have a lot to contribute. And one thing people said that they've never seen before, that it's unique experience everybody gets on my webinars, is that I bring super accomplished people and beginners, because everybody is equally valuable. Everybody's experience is different and everybody's insight is important and everybody's contribution here really matters. So please tell us about your experience, especially how Trailhead helped you understand where you want to go and what you want to do. And also, I would love for you to share how you became Golden Hoodie and what it means to you, this leadership in our community, and how it fueled your journey.
Yes, no, thank you for that, Anna. I'm glad you did mention that. No, Trailhead has been, exponential for me in my life. It literally changed my life, right? And I'll talk a little bit about how I got started with that. 5 years ago, I used to work at a retail store. So I knew nothing about technology, right? I was working in retail, long hours. I was a full-time student. I was a full-time dad. I just had a new baby at that time. And then working full-time in retail as well. And then, I was also going to school full-time. So I was doing so many things full-time and juggling so many things. And then one day, this nonprofit organization came to my school. And that nonprofit organization was Pep Up Tech. Pep Up Tech stands for People Empowering People Up Through Technology. And what that organization basically is, it helps individuals like all of us coming from, not so great economic backgrounds, helping them learn about Salesforce, helping them learn about Trailhead, getting started on Trailhead and leveraging Trailhead to, get your career started. And so when I did a 2-day boot camp, At that time, it was just piloting. And I did a 2-day boot camp, and I got we did Trailhead, we did modules. I mean, we did, my first app was Build a Battleship app, and that honestly like piqued my interest, because I was like, wow, this is so easy. I thought everything else was going to be easy, all the apps and super badges and all that. But I said, you know, this is something that I'm interested in and I wanted to do. I was looking for a way out to get out of retail, right? It wasn't like sustainable, it wasn't scalable. It's not, it wasn't, there's nothing wrong with it. It wasn't just my career path for me. And so I mean, I was on, when I used to come home, I used to work from like, I went to school from 9 o'clock in the morning to 12 in the afternoon. And then from 12 to 10 o'clock in the, 10 o'clock in the night, I would work. And then from like 10 to 12, I would do, when I would come home, I would do homework. And then from like midnight to like 1:30 in the morning, I would do Trailhead. And then I would do this over and over and over again for 3 years. I did that for 3 years, nonstop, because I needed to get my foot in the door. I wasn't the most technologically advanced person. I have one certification, right? I failed 5 times along the process, but I learned so much, right? And that is the most important thing, is that it's not failure. It's a step for you to learn, right? It's an avenue for you to learn. And for me, I learned so much along the way. I learned how my study habits are. What I learned how to, the way I learned how to study in school was different from learning here. I found out that I'm a hands-on person. So all the hands-on challenges on Trailhead, I loved it, because I actually got to do the things that I was actually learning. I'm a visual learner, so I needed to see videos and things like that. And all those things I learned, each time I failed, I learned something new about myself, right? Now, everyone's different, right? Like Anna said, and like David said, everyone's different and everyone has their own learning style. For me, it was those ways. So Trailhead was, I mean, instrumental into my success, because I leveraged that so much. You know, we're all looking to get a job, right? We're all looking to advance. We're all looking to learn and change the world in so many different ways. I think Trailhead is the game changer, and it has helped me do so many different things. I mean, Trailhead is a conversation starter for me. So when I was new coming into the ecosystem for about 5 years ago, only thing I knew about Salesforce was Trailhead. All the things I learned about Salesforce was on Trailhead, right? So I would talk about the things I've learned, or the badges that I've done, or the trails that I'm currently doing, and that was a conversation starter. So I'm someone who is outgoing, but not that much, because it's like, hey, if I feel like I don't know much, I'm not gonna say much. But at the same time, whatever I do know, whatever I do continue to learn, I'm going to talk about that, because that's how you learn, right? I've also, along the way, I've gained mentors. I mean, mentorship is huge, because mentors can guide you in the right way and help you think of things differently.
And
right?
you are definitely mentoring us today. And I'm sure you said that it can be life-changing. I'm sure your experience and you sharing today changing someone's life today, right now. And I know that there will be people who will be reaching out to you on Trailhead and on LinkedIn, because I know that's how people behave after my webinars. I know it from Eric. He had so many people reach out to him for his mentorship after he was a speaker here. Eric is one of the people you see guests here today. And I want you to know that your contribution here today, and especially for me personally, very valuable that you're willing to share that you failed your exam 5 times. I say this because I'll be honest with you. When I started my journey in May of this year in this ecosystem, I was completely shocked and overwhelmed with how people constantly share their certifications. It not just appears like everybody's always on. Certifications are just popping everywhere out of the blue, and nobody ever sleeps or feels overwhelmed. And that overwhelmed me, because I was just not like this. I'm a real person. And that's why I always post my failures on LinkedIn, because I want people to see that a real life is not rainbow unicorny, and grit is essential. So one takeaway for me from your story is that you are super full of grit. So thank you so much for sharing this today. And I would love for us to look in a camera, and if Paula or Eric or somebody, can you please take a picture and send it to me? And let me make sure I'm in my pajamas, because otherwise people will not believe it. All right, smile. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming here, Shaquille, and making the time during Thanksgiving. I know you're in New York, so this is definitely your Thanksgiving. I appreciate you greatly. If you can stick around and answer some questions in the live chat, that would mean the world to me personally. And if anybody wants to connect with you on LinkedIn, I would love for you to share your profile.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Strategy number 3, get a study buddy. Schedule work sessions, then show up and then study. And I know it appears like, well, duh, of course you would do it. No, I realize that many times people talk about scheduling time with their study buddy, but they actually never show up and study together. So today I brought my personal study buddy to share with you how we studied together and the fruitfulness of it. So my personal friend, my personal study buddy, she passed Marketing Cloud Admin exam after studying together with me. She is a marketing professional transitioning into the configuration side of tech right now. She's a mommy, a wife, my good friend, 3 times Salesforce certified, 2 times Ranger, Paula Reynolds. I would like to ask you, how did having me as your study buddy help you pass the Marketing Cloud exam? And what was it that we did together that helped you prepare?
Hi, Anna. Well, I think I actually won the lottery in study buddies because I got you. But, it's not easy to find a study buddy for Marketing Cloud. It's easier if you have CRM, sales CRM and stuff. But with Marketing Cloud, you don't see that. And I actually searched for a study buddy by creating in the Trailblazers community group, post there. I went to Reddit, Salesforce Marketing Cloud group, asking for a study buddy. I didn't have anyone interested. So then I went to LinkedIn.
May I interrupt real quick?
Mm-hmm.
You did post about it everywhere. And yes. I posted my exam failure because what happened is I failed Marketing Cloud Admin exam. And I posted it on LinkedIn, like I told you I always do. And Paula posted a comment there. What did you say?
I said, well, actually, it was a comment you made to someone else where you said something about, I will keep studying with my study buddy, and you tagged someone. And I commented and I said, I want to join the study group. And then
immediately I reached out to you and I told you, yeah, let's do it today. Let's do it right now.
And that to me, that's my love language. ASAP is my love language. Now is my love language. And she said, when can we meet? And I said, I finish work at 5:30. I'll be there at 5:35. Wait for me in case I'm late. And we zoomed in.
Today.
Right now.
No
and that's
way.
What I wanted.
Right
right now. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want someone who was going to tell me this weekend and then cancel last minute. So when she said, okay, 5:30, and at 5:30, she texted me, where are you? I'm like, I'm on my way. And the reason why I needed a study buddy for this was because for the email specialist exam, which I took a week prior, there is a $20 practice exam through Web Assessor. But for Marketing Cloud Admin, there's nothing like that. So I wasn't sure if I had any gaps in my knowledge. Was there something, was I ready to take the test? So when Anna and I started studying, we decided, let's go find a practice exam. So we went to Quizlet, one of those that looked like the questions would look in the real test. And we went through the questions and we would find answers. If we knew them, great. If one of them knew them, we would explain it to the other one, because when you're teaching, that's how you're cementing what you're learning. If we didn't have the answer, if we didn't know the answer, we would just research it. She had resources and I had different resources, and we would just look each on our end live on Zoom. We didn't move from that question until we figure it out and we both felt comfortable that we knew the answer. And that was really helpful. I know Anna was stronger in Einstein, and I was a little bit stronger in Automation Studio. So it was really good to have someone with me that could help me out. It saved time. I was benefiting from the hours and hours and hours of studying that Anna did, as well as she was. I had a practice org at that time. Anna did not, but she had already taken the test. So she kind of had an idea of how things were worded, what to expect. So it was a great opportunity, but it doesn't end with just taking the test, because at the same time, you're networking and you're creating relationships. And one of the great things that came out of this, besides, of course, having Anna as my study buddy, was that she invited me to another study session that she had organized with Vladimir, who is one of the authors of the Marketing Cloud Consultant Exam, and another person, Josephine, and she actually passed her exam this past weekend. And Vlad to teach us, this is how you need to look at the exam. You know, these are some tips. These are some topics that you should really focus on for this exam. This is something that it would not have happened if I had stayed in my little world, studying on my own, trying. I'm really glad that I had this opportunity. I know it was helpful because the email special exam that I took the week prior, I had a practice exam. And for this admin exam, I didn't have a practice exam, but yet, even though it was a harder, more challenging exam, I scored 15 points higher than my previous exam because I had a study buddy. So definitely, you know, the hardest part might be finding a study buddy, but I would, you know, just post it on your LinkedIn and have people share it in comments so you can share it in your network. You will really find a lot of benefit from doing that.
And it can be a special gem like it happened for you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I do have a question. What kind of time commitment is a study buddy? Did you and I that evening study for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 3 hours? And did Vlad mentor us for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 90 minutes?
So you and I had scheduled an hour, but we were doing so good. We ended up studying for like 4 hours. I ended up getting like a Zoom professional account because we kept getting logged off because I was like, this is amazing. And with Vlad, it was 1 hour as well. But obviously, whatever works best for you and your study buddy. But like I think it was David said, get creative and schedule it and commit to it.
Vlad gave us 90 minutes of his time, and we took so many notes, and I shared my notes, you shared your notes, Josephina shared her notes. Jojo, our study buddy with Vlad, is also a YouTuber, and she passed her consultant exam. We'll see how I do this Sunday. I do have one final question. Was there a specific YouTube channel and a specific unique person who helped you with all of these exams with her YouTube channel? And can you tell us what that channel is and who that person is?
Oh my gosh, it is Trailblazing Together by MC Learning Camp, all their boot camps.
That channel is by a very specific person, not by any company. JB. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Paula. I would appreciate if you can network in a live chat and perhaps take some questions. I have a special guest, Harish Kumar. He is a special guest because he also benefited significantly from Trailblazing Together YouTube channel, where a very special person, JB, created playlists dedicated to specific Marketing Cloud exams. There is a playlist for email specialists, a playlist for Marketing Cloud consultant. The tens and hundreds of hours she invested into work with her colleagues in this ecosystem blow my mind. So if you remember this, I want our next guest, Harish Kumar, come on stage and share how different resources, specifically Trailblazing Together, helped him. He just passed his Marketing Cloud Consultant exam, which I saw on LinkedIn, and that is why I invited him to speak here today. He is a marketing ops manager at Status Technologies, 6 times Salesforce certified, speaks 3 languages, y'all. He's kind and helpful. It is currently 3 a.m. his time. And if you could please come on stage, Harish, if you can show us your beautiful face and share with us what methods helped you pass the Marketing Cloud Consultant exam and what role did YouTube play, especially Trailblazing Together?
Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody. Sorry, unfortunately, I can't come on video because it is almost like 4:30 a.m. My time. So I would try to stay off camera. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem at all.
So, um, for me, there are multiple things which actually helped me to clear this examination. So, I've been in this ecosystem for now more than 6 years now. But one thing I've never been an active trailblazer. That is a conscious effort which I'm trying to make this year and the next year as well. So, the few of the things which actually helped me across to clear my marketing cloud examination is one thing is since I've been working on Pardot for now good 8 years, and that mindset of marketing uh, uh, really helped me for this exam preparation. And I also went through a series of videos, training sessions of Marketing Cloud, which was done by Pankaj Namdai, actually helped me, and also JB's ever-ending videos, boot camps on email specialist, admin, and consultant also helped. Thanks, JB, for that. Apart from that, since I'm more of an hands-on kind of a person, and since as you know, Marketing Cloud, we don't get any free account to work on. So due to which I had to go through like a book called Automating Salesforce MC by Greg Jason, which was really helpful for me to understand which kind of scenario, what can we use, and that also helped me to clear that exam. And before this organization, I was working as a consultant in horizontal digital. There was a mass implementation of Marketing Cloud for one of the key stakeholders. So one of the key client. So I was part of the team for implementing Pardot for them and setting up things for Pardot. But at the same time, we were implementing Marketing Cloud for them as well. So some of my team members, just looking at them how they are implementing it, also did help me to pick up this particular tool, Marketing Cloud thing. And moreover, I've been preparing for this examination for good 2 years now. I failed 2 times.
Wow.
Uh,
Thank you for
and
sharing this. I'm not alone. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, and to be very frank, like since I've got six certification, out of six certifications, my average is I clear examination second time around most of the time, not the first time around. So other thing what
Wow.
I do is when I fail the examination, I come back and remember those questions, note it down somewhere, so that I will get to know what is the way the exams have been, the questions are coming up. So that is really helpful. So that's the other thing which actually helps me around. And the last thing is I've been working on tools like Marketo. So it was not by choice I entered the Salesforce ecosystem. I entered Salesforce ecosystem by 2014, but the thing is, I was not an active trailblazer, so I was like kind of in my own cocoon and never came out. So this is a brief thing of how exactly I was able
Well,
to
thank
clear
you
this
so much,
exam.
Harish. I appreciate you coming here at 3 a.m. and sharing your story with us. You're definitely a very active trailblazer now. You're going to have a ton of people reaching out to you and wanting to connect with you and asking you questions. I appreciate you greatly. And thank you so much for sharing how Trailblazing Together YouTube channel by JB, who's our next guest, help you pass your Marketing Cloud Consultant exam, which is super difficult. Thank you. All right, my strategies number 4, 5, and 6 come all together because our next guest speaker, JB, is going to be sharing with you about all 3 of them from her personal experience. So what are my strategies number 4, 5, and 6? Leverage flashcards, and you heard several speakers bring it up today. Ask people who passed exams recently to share their notes. That's what I did with Harish, and he shared his with me. And finally, find a Salesforce professional who can mentor you for the exam. And I found that Salesforce professional on JB's YouTube channel, Trailblazing Together. And as you heard, Vlad mentored me and Paula and Jojo, and she passed. We both passed Marketing Cloud admins, and hopefully I will pass this week Marketing Cloud consultant. So let's welcome JB, who is a Salesforce application architect. It is super early for her as well. She's a marketing champion, golden hoodie recipient, Salesforce user group leader, YouTuber at Trailblazing Together. She is 17 times Salesforce certified, 3 times Ranger. Question for you. Would you please, JB, share with us how these 3 strategies played out in you becoming so many times Salesforce certified? Welcome again to my webinar for the 2nd time. I absolutely love you. I'm super grateful for you. And you are also in this cookie jar, because this Thanksgiving, I am super, super grateful for you and for all the work you do in our community that contributed significantly to my professional success. Take it away.
Thanks for having me, Anna. And it's so great to hear all the good things about the Trailblazing Together and how it has been helping people clear the certifications. It feels like all the efforts that we have put into the bootcamps and several other videos are paid. So I'll talk about the first tip, preparing flashcards and leverage colorful pens. So this is the tip that I learned during my school days. So whenever you're learning something new and which is important on the exam, prepare the flashcard, write the notes in the flashcard and give it a revision before you take the exam, or give it a revision every day. After you're done with your study, just go back and look at the notes, the flashcards. And I usually write everything in the notes, and here are my colorful pens that I use. And every time I'm working on a project or writing anything down, I hope you can see that. I write everything down using these colorful pens. This makes me focus, and it makes life beautiful instead of just black and white. So it makes me more like wanting to study, more interested. So I make use of the colorful pens. Go for it. And talking about the flashcards, I exclusively sit down and write the notes whenever I learn something new. And then at the end of the day, I go revise those cards. And then when I'm starting my study again, I go back and revise one more time. That's how I refresh my brain, and also I remember more. And I collect all these flashcards, and before I take the exam and several times in between, I go and revise. So these are very important. And you also mentioned other speakers also have stressed enough about the importance of having the flashcards. So, I would add more to it. Go write the flashcards and take a step further and create a study guide for yourself to follow. And then share it on the social where other trailblazers can follow. And I used to write some blog posts where I share my experiences or all the topics and explain about them. And then if somebody is going back, or even if I have to retake the exam, then I go back and refer to all the notes. So the study notes have been really helpful, and the blogs that I have written have been helpful many people in clearing the certifications as well. So you can take a step further and see how your notes can be helpful to the other trailblazers. So that's my step number 1 for the flashcards. And talking about the next tip, ask trailblazers who passed the exam recently. Just go for it. And this is very important because the exam questions may be changing, and the exam format itself, the topics covered in the exam may be changing, and you would not notice. Once you start studying for the exam, you go and check for the exam guide on the trailhead. And then when you prepare, you wouldn't worry to go back and see if anything changed until somebody else's have posted about it or something like that. So it's all worth to get in touch with the trailblazers who have cleared the exam recently. I do that frequently when I conduct the boot camps. So let's say I'm working on conducting the next boot camp. I will check out on the LinkedIn who have recently cleared the certification, and then I don't hesitate to approach them. I ask them, because it might have been years since I have taken the certification, but there may be people who have taken recently and they have more insights on what's actually covered in the exam, and if they have any tips to share for the next people who wants to take the certification, I would go and ask them their insights. And then I would make sure that those topics are covered in the upcoming bootcamp. I would definitely do that for any certification that I prepare or I am going to conduct the bootcamp for. And the next step, find a Salesforce professional who specializes in that area for mentorship. So mentorship is very important for you to grow in your career, because you don't know what you don't know. And at one point of time, you lack motivation as well. So when you look at the people, you take them as an inspiration, and mentors can guide you about the things that you don't have the certain perspective on, certain things you don't know, and they are a step ahead of you, and they have taken the same path as you, and they have more to share, to guide. And we have a wonderful community. I stress about this again and again. So reach out to anybody, and you will definitely have some help. And I remember making a point that we have Kavindra, I guess, making a point that our community is more than 1 million strength. And if you put out a word into the community, then out of the 1 million or more than 1 million trailblazers, you would definitely get help from at least one trailblazer. And that is worth it. You would get insights, you would get some guidance. So it's all worth to reach out to the mentors. And I have many people reach out to me on LinkedIn asking me for some specific solution or specific topic guidance as well. The mentorship need not be a direct relationship, or it need not be a continuous relationship as well. So you can reach out to a person who has knowledge on a certain feature and ask them how they have implemented it. Or in a passive relationship, you can follow their blog post. Not that not necessary that you have to get in touch with that person. They may be busy, they may not check the messages frequently, but they may be helping you in a way through their videos or the blog posts. So check out what they have been posting and follow them. So after networking, I feel mentorship is a very important thing that everybody should have. So don't hesitate. We all hesitate to reach out, thinking what if the person wouldn't respond. There is no harm in reaching out. If they respond, you will be gaining something. So if they don't respond, there is no harming in reaching out.
This is so valuable, and I have so much to say about it. I would like to start with number one. I would like to start with saying that if somebody reaches out to you, for example, for your mentorship, or to me, that should not come with a sense of entitlement, because I receive so many requests. Almost every morning I wake up to people asking for my mentorship, and some people I can mentor. I mentor Paula here, and I mentored Elizabeth, our next guest, and I mentor people by being an official trailhead mentor, and I mentor several other people. But the truth is, I can't mentor one-on-one everyone. That's impossible humanly. And I remember when I mentioned it to one of the men who was reaching out to me on LinkedIn, he wrote me an angry letter. How come on your YouTube channel, you, Anna, say we should ask for mentorship, and now you are not giving me your mentorship? That is a sense of entitlement. That's extremely unrealistic, and definitely I blocked that guy for sure. He doesn't have access to communicate with me anymore, because me saying here, or JB saying here, that you all should ask for mentorship does not mean that we are going to give you instant mentorship one-on-one all the time. There are hundreds of people in this community who reached out for my mentorship, and I'm sure for your mentorship. It's impossible. But sometimes a person may contribute to your life. And I want to say that you, JB, became my mentor before you and I ever started talking. How you became my mentor is through your YouTube channel, Trailblazing Together. And I know that I've got to mentor hundreds of trailblazers. I helped hundreds of trailblazers pass their exams successfully through my YouTube channel, Anna Szabo. I have YouTube videos, especially on the business analyst exam, that are the most unique and super helpful. And that is how I get to mentor. That is how you get to mentor. I also would like to thank you for being in my cookie jar. You definitely made it here with these written gratitude notes, because when I approached you on LinkedIn, you responded and you invited me to be a part of your group, and you blessed me. That's, hopefully I'm not going to start crying. You blessed me with an exam voucher, because you were giving vouchers to your attendees who attended all boot camps, and I attended all several times. I watched the same content I watched several times. And you knowing that I failed Marketing Cloud Consultant exam so many times, you knowing that I also failed Marketing Cloud Admin and Marketing Cloud Email Specialist, and you still being willing to invest in me and support my journey, when you gave me that voucher, that just, I don't know, it like expanded my view on the support I'm receiving from people who don't say, well, she failed, she should have studied better, whatever to her. No, you nurtured me and nourished me with encouragement by doing this. I also would like to thank you for your kindness. I know it is super early, unbelievably early for you, and this is the second time you're showing up to contribute to our saasguru trailblazer community here at an imaginably early time. And I thank you so much. I thank you for your kindness. I thank you for you being my role model, how I saw you contribute to my journey with the videos on your YouTube channel, how you brought unbelievably accomplished Marketing Cloud professionals. Each of their perspective gave me something new. That is why when saasguru invited me to do these webinars, I did the first webinar on my own, and then I decided to do what you do. By inviting other speakers and featuring their perspectives, I thought I would contribute way more to the saasguru community because I would model after you. And so thank you so much for agreeing to be one of the speakers and giving so much wisdom and help to our trailblazers here today.
It's great to know, and this made my day, Anna. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I feel a little embarrassed being in my pajamas and you being in your golden hoodie. Can Paula or Elizabeth or Eric, can you please take a picture for me and send it to me? Can we smile in the camera? And can we feature your golden hoodie in my pajamas? I know nobody will believe it. Thank you so much. All right, strategy number 7. Teach others out loud on the topics you're learning for your exam. And our next guest speaker, our final guest speaker, is Elizabeth Applenab, recently certified Salesforce admin. 6 days after she got certified, I invited her to be a speaker at my webinar. Wow, she's entering the Ohana with a bang, y'all. She earned her cert this month. She is a former music therapist, currently looking for her first Salesforce job. She's a YouTuber at Salesforce and Songs. Elizabeth, welcome for the second time in a row into our community as a speaker. And I would like to ask you, how did teaching others and creating songs about Salesforce to teach others about Salesforce, how did that help you pass your admin exam successfully? Welcome and take it away. And I know you have a surprise for us today.
Yes. Thank you, Anna, for having me, and thank you for the introduction. So I feel like writing songs was a good break for me from just the constant studying and staring at a computer. So picking up the guitar really helped me to remember those concepts, and creating a melody helped cement it in my brain. So I thought, I should share this because I'm sure other people kind of get bored of the constant studying in one certain way, and music can really help you memorize those terms. So I shared it on LinkedIn, and what David was talking about with accountability posting on LinkedIn, with my songs, I had to triple check the lyrics, right? To make sure all of my information is correct. You don't want to be putting out incorrect information on LinkedIn, and definitely not in a song either. So posting it online helped me to really make sure that my information was right. And also, when you're learning something, right, you understand it yourself, and you understand the concepts in your brain, but getting that out there to other people is like a whole nother story. And explaining it, especially explaining it to people that don't even understand Salesforce. I know I sang my song for my husband, and he was like, I have no clue what you're saying, but it sounds great. So making up a song about it, I had to kind of explain everything afterwards too. So being able to learn the concepts yourself is one level of understanding, and then explaining it to somebody else is like a whole nother level of understanding, for sure.
I agree 100%, because when I was studying for my admin exam, I was in boot camp, Salesforce boot camp by Salesforce, and I was always thinking, this is so helpful. How would I explain it to my boot camp mates, classmates? And my professor, Katrin Kuzik, she allowed me to share during our meetings on video. So every time I was studying, I was also making notes. How would I teach somebody? And I truly believe that doing that and teaching my classmates out loud allowed me to really comprehend it and bring it all together over time, of course. It took 4 weeks for me to prepare and pass my exam. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing this. And I know today you have a special song. It is your new debut song. What is it called? And can you please play the guitar and sing for us? And we are going to make sure that we show you our hands as you play and clap quietly so we can hear you sing.
Okay. This song is called Flows Happen Just Like That. And if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you will recognize the melody. She came out with a new album called, well, I can't remember what the album's called, Midnight or something, but the song that this is a tune to is called Karma. So you might recognize the melody, and it's all about flows. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'll grab it, it's behind me. All right. And I'll try to enunciate, because my mic isn't the best, but I hope you like it. Building blocks around the clock, elements or actions that we got. There's so many we can use. Assignment, an element, setting values in the variables, or maybe you want to loop. You can pause, you can email alert. All of your users will know. Flow is a solution, auto launch flow. It's in the background and you don't even notice. You can schedule it or not, put by a record or nothing at all. Screen to flow, it's right in front of you. Users have to interact to run it. Workflow process builder are out. Flows happen just like that. Ooh, ooh. Building blocks around the clock, connectors, you can use them to make a path from element to element. And when your element may fail, a thought path can be made with an action, and all your problems disappear into thin air. You can debug your flow to make sure all of your users will know. Flow is a solution, auto launch flow. It's in the background and you don't even notice. You can schedule it or not, triggered by a record or nothing at all. Screen flow, it's right in front of you. Users have to interact to run it. Workflow process builder are out. Flows happen just like that. And just like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for being willing to play publicly, to share your talents and wisdom with us. Thank you so much for contributing to the saasguru Trailblazer community. I absolutely appreciate your courage to share your journey and be here. I know you're completely new to this ecosystem and you're already doing all of this, and I am grateful for you. You are also in my cookie jar, Elizabeth. I also want to mention that in my cookie jar is saasguru. Without saasguru, I would never be able to pass so many exams so quickly and learn so much. And that's why I want to invite anybody here today and anybody watching on YouTube. I would like to invite you to join saasguru, study together with me, and use the coupon code ANNA20 for 20% off your exam prep. Without exam preparation, the practice exams at saasguru, which I used to pass 3 certifications in 4 days this September, without having access to practice exams at saasguru, I failed Marketing Cloud exams 4 times. That only goes to show how important it is to have access to practice exams. And recently, saasguru launched preparation for the exam no one has practice exams for, and that is CPQ, definitely on my list. So I invite all of Trailblazers watching this video on YouTube or having access to this webinar today, join saasguru, come learn with me, use a coupon code ANNA20 for 20% off your practice exams, and let's make sure we become many times Salesforce certified, because in this ecosystem, to position yourself successfully for jobs, you have to have a heavily certified background. When I became 6 times Salesforce certified in 108 days, I ended up with multiple offers. That's how I got my dream job, and it would never happen without saasguru. So I would like to take a moment to thank saasguru for their leadership in our Trailblazer community and creating this open forum for us to meet here every Friday for 4 weeks now, and be able to have this incredible professional fellowship and learn together, share our wisdom, help each other, ask questions live. I always make myself available for you to ask questions. I didn't see any questions today. And I thank our incredible speakers for making time on Thanksgiving, and some of them at 3 a.m. their time, waking up so early to continue contributing to your success, Trailblazers. So thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate you greatly being here today. And we have one last webinar. This is going to be webinar number 5 out of 5 that saasguru invited me to do. And that webinar is on December 2nd at 5:30 p.m. I have an incredible line of speakers for you, and I will see you then. Thank you.